Walnut.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Workshop of Woods Fun Round. I'm Doug, and welcome. We got some black walnut that we're going to turn today. This is a piece you may have seen or may not have seen the big salad bowl that I turned. I believe this is the center out of that log. You can see it's thin. It's not even. It runs from about an inch and a quarter up to about 2.5 inches uh, around here. So let me bring in my help today. Uh, Folks who are going to keep me straight. Here is Ruby Claire, and I got to say it twice, Ruby Claire.
No, there's no
No,
more
she hasn't
RPC.
got it up.
It's not there, but I know it's there. And Wayne, the woodturner, Wayne Clasper, we're glad to have
Good
both of
evening,
you.
everybody.
I'm going to chuck you back, guys, back in the background again, and we're going to get to it. I'm hoping this is not going to take a whole long time and that everything holds together. I've drilled a recess in the what's going to be the top, and so we're going to get started here. And while I'm getting going, if one of you guys will read off who all's in the chat.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Okie doke.
I think first up was Andy, door 60. And we've got Paul Finley in, Gerard, the French turner, Larry, that's Henry Skullsaw Works. Oh, Ruby's here.
I'm glad you noticed that, Wayne.
And Rob from Copperell. Good morning, Rob. Mike from Dances with Aardvarks. Andy, the Valley Woodturner. Evening, Andy. Just going down. Todd at Glen Cove.
Did you get Roger Kent?
Have I gotten that far down yet? Well, Roger's in, obviously. Brian, there with a Y. Roger, yep, got him now. Malcolm Douglas. You carry on turning, Doug.
Yep.
Steve Hill. James Crawford. Susie the Swiss Wood Turner. Raymond Wise. Bert's Bulls. Wurzel 001.
Paul Finley.
I think did I not get Paul earlier on? Oh, Mark's in. Mark's in the chat.
Hey, Mark.
Rich Baldock. Andy Woofy Woodshed. Barry Chitty. Peter the Park Woodturner. And I think that's me. Oh, Paul Hoyton's just come in. That's me down at the bottom. If I have missed you, I do apologise. Stick something else in the chat and I'll catch you.
Mark, you holler if you want to come in. I understand you're busy.
Chris from Billy Woodworks is in.
Hey, Bailey. Hello, everybody. I'm glad all of you are here. Especially you folks in the States. It's an early afternoon kind of turning for you guys. Some of you can watch while you're at work, and I understand that. Not everybody can do that. I'm glad you're
And
here.
Rob Copperell must get up really early because he's over in Australia.
Yes.
And Jennifer Craft and Creations is in. Good evening, Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hey,
Sorry I
Jennifer.
missed you at the weekend. Now,
Just
Mark
working.
has said, sorry, Doug, not tonight.
I understand. No problem. Busy guy. Busy guy. Um,
Rich Baldock has said, background while at work. This is customer feedback for me.
we're just working on getting this flattened out a bit. It was not cut straight, so I'm cutting here, but nowhere else. So I've got that much. About a third of it is all I'm cutting at this point. but we're going to get there real soon. It's running 800 RPMs.
And Jason Levron's just come in as well.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Like I said, I do appreciate everybody who's come in. It means a lot to me. And
Is the wood feeling sort of dry?
is this wood dry?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it is very dry. I brought this log with me when I moved here, and I've been in this house for 9.5 years.
Good heavens.
Well, it
Now,
should be dry by now.
You think? If I remember right, this was standing dead when I cut the tree down.
Of course, I shouldn't say too much because if I looked in the garage at some of my roughed out bowls, they have dates of 2000 on them.
Sure, sure.
I keep saying I'm going to get them down and finish turning them.
Right.
One of these fine days.
Right. But then some job comes up and
Takes your time. Yeah.
well,
Thanks
that
for
was,
that, Jennifer. Yeah, Jean and I are both well, Jennifer. Ish.
Didn't get quite tight. Ruby, you might remember there was a fella. In fact, let me tighten that up. There was a fella that lived. I think he lived in Arizona. Of course, he's long dead now, but he was one of those guys that just knew everything about turning and made tools like crazy. Um, I don't know. Any chance you can think of who that might be?
While
Yeah.
Ruby's thinking of that, Ward's just come in from Arizona.
All right. Hey, Ward.
Benjamin's come in as well.
Hey,
Oh,
Ben.
Ben. Oh, Ben will be happy. Douglas is turning walnut tonight, Ben.
But I'm not going to burn it.
And I think I missed Dale. Old Man River is in as well.
Hey, Dale.
I'll have to think on that one, Doug,
Yeah.
because most of the guys I knew from Arizona are still alive and kicking.
Right.
That's the problem with getting old. Your memory doesn't go back that far.
Excuse me.
Mine goes back to lunchtime. Just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a new name. We've got a new name in the house. Pegboard UK.
Yes, that is.
Pegboard UK.
Let's see
Well,
who that is.
welcome along.
That's good because he's keeping an eye on Benjamin for us.
I did notice that, yeah.
All right.
Oh, hang on.
Is that somebody we know?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I don't know where this one came from. But it looks like it's Mark. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Ben is, oh my God, the pegboard is following me. Marcel Duret has joined us.
Hey, Marcel.
Good evening, good evening, Marcel, from me. Oh, Zed's in as well. Hi, Zed.
Hey, Zed. starting to get there.
Yes, Ben, you better be careful because the peg watches all.
And Douglas Mungham's just come in as well. Evening, Douglas.
Hey, Douglas.
Hello, Douglas.
Well,
Would one
there's
of
not-
your easy wood tools work on that?
You're probably right. I was just thinking the same thing.
Oh, Zed is not putting a video out this week. He has been aggressively trying to expel a kidney stone.
Ah,
And by that, he means crying like a baby.
Yes, that I've had one, and yes, I can sympathize with them.
I have not, and I don't want one. Thank you very much.
No,
Yes,
you
same here,
don't.
Doug.
Now, Gerard has issued a warning that he started a clinical trial on a drug for cognition. It tastes gingery. He has to drink it for the next 8 weeks. What a brain he will have then. Well, they gave my husband one, and I'm not too sure it's working on him yet.
Yeah. Gerard's just got to remember to take it.
That's what my husband figures I'm for, because I lay out his pills for him morning and evening.
And Jennifer is asking me, have I got a live tomorrow night? Yes, Jennifer, I have.
Any idea what you're going to do, Wayne?
I'm going to be having a bit of a play with my Dremel engraver.
Okay.
Maybe using a stencil and obviously using some colour.
Sounds like fun.
And Roy's the boys just come in as well. Evening, Roy.
Hi, Roy.
And Gerard saying there's no fear of that. I think that's forgetting about taking it. For €550, he'll take it every morning.
Hey, if they paid me that, I would too.
Yeah, and me. Mark said he's back to his other persona, but he may start a pegboard channel just for Ben.
Very good. Very good.
Don't worry, Mark. I'll still be monitoring you. Somebody's got to make sure Mark behaves.
Well, that'll not be me.
No.
That's my job.
You'll take that on, huh?
Yep.
I kind of thought that was Kim's job.
Well,
No, that's Ruby's job. It's no good asking me to do that. Mark and I just feed off each other.
I've noticed that. Well, I move that right up against there, and I need just a little space with this easy wood. There we go.
I do
And
like
Jason is saying to you, Ruby, that's a full-time job you've got there.
that. You're right, Jason. What do you mean, Roy, by storking them? I've not heard that expression. If you mean stalking, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, I want to come back to my 1/2-inch bowl gouge. I'm going to make this just a little bit of an OG through here.
And Zed has said, my parents left me in charge of my younger siblings once. Just once. He was 35 at the time.
Uh-huh. Might want to check how much wood you have left there, Doug.
Oh, I'm watching. Yes.
So Mark has just been invited to do a tutorial with Axminster for their channel, either a live or a video. Nice one, Mark.
Congratulations, Mark.
If you need a hand to know what you're doing, give us a shout.
That's I know where that's coming from. Let's see. I'm gonna wait. I was gonna go ahead and form a little bit of a foot here, but I think I'm gonna wait on that till I turn it around. What I'll do is come in right about here, and I'll not totally eliminate my recess, but pretty close to it,
Yeah.
just to give it kind of an OG shape there, except for the foot. And I'm kind of liking that. I need to reset my tool rest, get this outer edge.
Now, I don't know if Douglas has been spammed or not, but he said he had a nice letter. Oh, was it a letter? He had a nice letter from a company called Capita to let me know that their computer had been hacked and his pension had been taken. Oh, that's not good, Douglas.
That's not good at all.
I'd be checking with my bank and seeing if it really has been taken.
Mm-hmm.
There's an awful lot of spammers out there these days.
Yeah, the thing that gets me though is that it came in a letter rather than an email or something like that.
Right.
Well, Douglas, for your sake, I hope that's not true.
And Gerard has said to Mark, I suppose you'll be doing your own special colouring, black and yellow.
I don't think he's ever going to live that one down.
He's not. The thing is, I suggested black and yellow to him before he did that demo. And Lucy's in. Hiya, Lucy.
Hey, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. This is going to be thin enough, it might make a nice cheese and cracker plate.
As long as it's not a chip and dip.
No.
Oh, God. Ben's at it again. He said, hi, Lucy. Oh, that reminds me. I have some shortbread for pudding.
Ah, finally. All right.
Right, so Douglas has been in touch with his bank. So there are things in place to monitor his account just in case.
Good.
Good.
Good. Let's see. Get a little sanding done, and then we'll
It
flip this around.
seems Now, this doesn't sound like a spam anymore, but it seems that all of Douglas's details have been taken.
This may be just a identity fraud,
Yeah.
which is as bad, if not worse.
I don't think my identity will get stolen. I doubt anyone would want to pretend they're me.
Well, I know of quite a few people who would wish they were you, Ruby.
Believe me, they don't. They're delusional if they do.
And Roy is saying, talking about the black and yellow again. He did a honey bee dipper with black and yellow, with a black and yellow bee.
That would look quite attractive. That's a good idea, Roy.
I've got to, excuse me, this bottom is not, I never did get it totally flat. I thought I did, but it's not. Easy enough to fix.
Ward Wilson started in with the dad jokes.
Yes.
He's directed this one at Zed. What does the Frenchman call his sandals? Flip flops.
Oh, thanks, Mark. I hope you said hi to Colin for me. Douglas, I'm quite sure you can turn just as well as I can.
All right, I've got a nice flat inside this initial area, and that's what I was after. Need to deepen my recess just a touch.
I've got a good dad joke for you. You ready for it?
Okay, we're ready.
I just got diagnosed as being colorblind today. That came right out of the purple.
You're terrible, Wayne.
Yeah, I know.
All right. I tell you what, I find it interesting when we see these videos of people who are getting the color correction glasses and they see color for the very first time. That's just amazing that can happen.
Well, a friend of mine that I taught how to turn is colorblind.
Uh-huh.
And he's got a pair of those glasses. And when I tried them on, because I have very excellent sight for picking up color and slight variations in color.
Right.
I couldn't believe how bright they made everything look.
Sure.
Like even for my eyes, which I really don't need them for that. The difference was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it's great technology, and I'm glad that's one of those technical things that I'm real glad that they came up with, so people aren't deprived of color all their life.
For me, that would be the hardest thing to try and live with. Would be a world that's just black and white.
I would think
Yeah,
the same.
there's one of the guys in the community over there in the States, Matt Wackley, Wacky Woodworks. He's
Mm-hmm.
colorblind, and he
Yeah.
he does a lot of turn. He actually does a lot of coloring as well with resin. And Norman Greenwell's just come in. Even Norman. And Mark has just come back in as Gentleman Wood Turner, so he has got a spanner, and he's threatening to do stuff in case these jokes get out of hand. Todd's asking a question, but I don't understand it.
What's that?
You see, I'm going to read this as it's come up. What do you have to break to use? And that's why I can't understand it.
What do
Oh,
you?
it's a joke. Sorry. I thought he was asking a pertinent question there. It's a joke.
I would say you'd have to break your fear.
Well, the Todd's come back with the answer is eggs. That's why it's in there as a joke.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, Brian's put one in as well. Here we go. It's Diarrhea Awareness Week. Runs till Friday.
Oh dear. I'll pass.
Yeah, oh dear. Mark, why didn't you block that one? And Mark has asked Susie a question. So and all he said is any news in September. So we'll wait back on that one. I'm going to stop reading the jokes out now.
Well,
Jane's just said because they're not funny.
well, do you know why there are so many different blood types, Wayne?
Come on then.
Well, you have to give the mosquitoes some choice in different tastes.
Oh, that's that's not
So
good.
you go to one person. Yeah, the mosquitoes go to one person for a starter, one for a main meal, and one for dessert.
Mm,
They'll come to me, period.
that's right. Me too. Just because. Just because. If I were to come over here and click on there and start to see some of the grain and pattern that's in this piece of walnut.
It's
This
going to be
was
a
a crotch
very
piece.
Very nice.
Yeah, you see a little of the, I don't know that that's sapwood, but it's getting close. But you can tell that's a piece of crotch. There goes one of the branches right through there, and another one out through there.
Yeah.
And then out here is the trunk, I do believe. So anyway, well, we'll leave it on that view for now.
Now, Mike, I don't know if you've been following Mike's posts on. This is Dances with Aardvarks. Mike Sam. I don't know if you've been following what he's been doing on Facebook, but he has just funneled the emerging amphora at the top of his amphora tree. He's done a brilliant piece of work using basically a branch with pieces cut out or turned out, and then amphoras slotted into them. But he's just gone through the top one. Sorry about that, Mike. Is it recoverable?
I hope so. Looks like Captain Eddie is with us.
Oh, Captain Eddie's
Hey.
in. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see him earlier. I just saw somebody mention his name.
Good to see you, Eddie. Hope you're doing well today as well. Just hogging out some of this waste wood here.
Yeah, Mike said he thinks he can plug the bottom and recover it. Hope so, Mike, because it's looking really cool.
I'll have to check it out when we're done.
Eddie said he's doing great. Just popped in accidentally. This is interesting. I like to keep making them slice and cuts.
We try. Just checking my thickness here. I got a little lump right there that I need to get rid of.
Better doing it now while you've still got some stuff in the middle.
Exactly. Much better.
Yeah, Lucy's got her fingers crossed that Mike Speaks goes okay. Right, Zed has said his wife has started the channel, if anyone is interested. She makes time lapses of seeds germinating and sets them to music. Zed, you want to message me with the with her channel, and I'll pop it in. Oh, hang on, he's just put it there. It'll not come up as a link, so I will just copy that. Oh, hang on, copy that. The chat keeps on moving.
Yeah, that's very interesting when you do time lapse photography.
Copy, paste. And that should now come up as a link.
Now, Doug, you're checking your thickness there, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry if I seem a little anal about that.
Yeah, Mark said, I thought maybe Zed was doing the best setup ever for a joke. Yeah, but so did I until he put the link in. The link that I've put in is to Zed's wife's channel. When people put links into chats, unless they've got the moderator spanner, the link doesn't work, which is why I put it in. And Ben has said, that sounds more interesting than your channel, Zed. I might swap to hers.
That's because he has a one family subscription policy.
All right.
Ah, Lewis has joined us. Hi, Lewis.
Hey, Lewis.
Hiya, Lewis.
Hopefully, young Jack is doing fine. Now, when you have a big open wide area like this is where I like a bowl gouge that has a about a 60-degree angle
That'd be
on
like
it.
an English grind.
Yes. We call them bottom feeders.
Yeah, bottom feeders, English grind. Yeah. I've got to say, I find them a lot easier to do, like a flat inside bottom, if you see what I mean, rather than a swept back grind.
Right, but what it is that because it's so shallow with such a wide opening, the handle of the tool isn't interfering with the cut in any way, shape, or form. And you can get a nice sweep coming right across. Well, and Zed says he has a collaboration with his wife coming up.
Very
He
good.
turned a stand for a test tube that she will be germinating the seed in, that is the seed of the wood he turned. That sounds interesting.
This is an old swept back bowl gouge that I have reground the tip on so that it's pretty close to what you're talking about.
Yep.
It's got just a small bevel just from there up. It's not very big, but it's that sharp or kind of a flat grind on it.
Now, if there are any lawyers in the room tonight, I do apologise, but I am going to read this out anyway. Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks has said we should start calling that the lawyer grind, aka bottom feeders.
All right. Going to add just a little glue to a couple areas here. I've got some places around the pith that are wanting to chip out on us, on me. Y'all aren't responsible for this, but I am. I've already added a good bit of CA to the blank because it did have some pretty deep splits in it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this was the pith out of the log. Well, I know it is.
And Chisky's just come in. Hi, Chisky.
Chesky.
Now, if you have any voids caused by that pith being in, usually what I do is I take 2-part epoxy and mix a little bit of black acrylic paint with it, and then fill it in with that.
Right.
Because the black seems to it blends in with the walnut quite nicely.
Sure. I don't have any true voids. They're mostly checks that we've got. And since I've got a place that came out right there, I've got to cut it down anyway, so I don't mind putting the CA on here.
Now, Mark says when he does platters, he uses the Richard Raffin method and uses a slight radius scraper.
Right. I've been watching an awful lot of Richard's videos, and I tell you what, he gets me confused sometimes. But to see a fella like he uses what he's used all his life, and so he gets his bowls down, the sidewalls down almost to the very bottom, and then pulls that scraper out, and just makes a beautiful bottom out of that. All right.
Now, Ward has said that he is a lawyer, so he's heard them all anyway.
Well, then I guess we'd better call him Your Honor.
And Mark has said that Richard Raffin is very old school.
Yes, he is.
I remember the first time I saw him demonstrate. Within 5 minutes, he had gotten about 10 catches.
He still does, but he just kind of keeps going, and it's like he doesn't even get them, even though they're definitely there.
Well, most of the very old turners all use scrapers because initially that's all there was. There weren't things like spindle gouges and bowl
Right.
gouges. In fact, Wayne sent me a very good article about that.
Ward has just said, did I see his thing? Oh, Ward said, what do you call a lawyer who is too stupid to practice law? Answer, Your Honor. And Mark is asking Ward, I could use a lawyer, Ward. Are you cheap? Well, that's just cost you 50 quid, Mark, asking that. Michael McEwen's just come in.
Hey, Michael. Very good. Very good.
Zed,
Rollers.
Zed thinks it's easier to sharpen a scraper.
Well, actually, it is as long as you can get the angle right. A lot of people get really hung up on sharpening gouges and things. Sharpening scrapers is a hell of a lot easier than sharpening the gouge.
A lot easier to sharpen freehand, at least, anyway.
Right, we've got to me another new name. I don't know if this is somebody else made up another channel, but we've got Walt Wybrew. Just Walt Wybrew Woodworking just come in. Hang on, let's
Yes,
go and
I
have a
know
look.
Walt. Hi, Walt. In
Yep.
fact, Walt and I did a
Yeah, he's got
exchange.
quite a few videos out.
He does.
So if people want to pop across to Walt and go and subscribe, I
Yeah,
already
Walt and I
have done.
exchanged some wood, and I think he turned everything I sent him. I have not turned everything he sent me yet.
Well, you
Lazy.
better
That's
get
all that.
at it.
Well, I was telling a guy the other day. A guy gave me an apple tree the other day, and I said, he told me he's going to wait till it's cooler weather before he cuts it. And I said, well, that's good because I am wood poor. I've got wood coming out my ears. He said, well, you take as much or as little as you want. So I intend to, when he lets me know he's going to cut it, I'm going to go get every bit of it.
Right, now Douglas is asking me a question here. He says, Wayne, are scrapers better than gouges? Now, I've got to say that all depends on which wood turner you talk to. I tend to finish all of my bowls with gouges. I know Mark sometimes, not all the time, but Mark sometimes finishes his bowls with scrapers. Quite a lot of the old school turners, of which I think I am one, but quite a lot of the old school turners will do the majority of the work with a gouge, then finish off with a scraper. What's your view on this, Ruby?
For me, it depends entirely on what wood I'm turning. If I'm turning a softer or medium soft wood, then definitely I'm going to use a gouge. But if I'm turning a very, very dense hardwood like a blackwood or something like that, that has a tight grain, it's very hard, then many times a scraper will actually cut it better.
There you go.
I think part of it is what you learn to use and whether you've learned how to use that tool properly.
Okay, hang on. Right, this chat is going extremely fast here, and I'm missing stuff. I'm going to have to go back a little bit. Right.
Doug, do you have your vacuum on?
No, I left it off. I couldn't hear.
Okay.
Walter said the most unique thing about his videos is the stroboscopic filming.
Yes.
Walter said, Doug, turn on your vacuum. Michael has said to Lucy, congratulations, you seem to be the only one who noticed that. I'm sorry I've missed that one. It's gone way past now. Right. Douglas has asked, Wayne, what about doing the whole turn? Now, a lot of people who are in the chat have seen me do my lives, have seen me do bulls, and I do just about, apart from sanding, I do just about all my turning using bull gouges, especially on bulls. I tend to hog out quite quickly using a 3/8, or what we've got in the UK is a 3/8 bull gouge. In the US, that'll probably be a 1/2 inch bull gouge. And then I do a finishing cut using a 1/4 inch bull gouge, which will be a 3/8 bull gouge in the US. And I find I get a good enough finish to start sanding with that.
Now, if you're
Oh,
too,
nice
I
dig,
don't.
Ward.
Do you really do live swing?
Yes, Ward.
I'm glad you don't use do dead.
Now Zed does things slightly differently to any other wood turner I've ever seen. Because Zed uses a scraper which comes from, I think, a bulldozer bucket tooth.
Well, I think Zed,
And
you'll find the platter works better than a bull with that.
he's just put in the chat there that he might have to try and do a complete bull turn, a complete bull turn using the BFS 5000 just to see if it's possible. Now it's the tooth out of a bucket of a bulldozer. That's what Zed uses.
Well, I quite think it would work.
Douglas has said, what about using a scraper to turn a bull? Now, I sent Ruby an article about bull gouges.
Yep.
And when bull gouges were basically invented and their progression from that period, which was the early 70s. Prior to that, whenever people made bulls, they were always done with scrapers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, almost all turning used to be done with scrapers. They shaped the scrapers to get the different shapes for spindles, for example.
Ward Wilson has said, Wayne, your bull has a place of honor on my bookshelf, and the live in which you made it is saved on my YouTube. Thank you very much, Ward. Very much appreciated. And Ben has said, Ward, Wayne's first live was on wireless. You obviously couldn't see anything, but you could hear lots of swearing. Yep, that'll be right.
Oh dear. Now, Lewis just sent me a picture of his grandson, and I have to admit the young man is really growing quickly.
I can
Has he
imagine.
got a beard yet?
Well, it won't be very long now before he'll be working his first lathe. But he looks pretty bright-eyed and bushy.
Todd, that's Ruby. That's getting all the notifications.
Yeah, unfortunately, some.
Lucy said, Wayne, do you need any medicine? Well, Lucy, if that medicine starts with AS and ends in BACH, yeah. No. In fact, Douglas has asked a question. Have I turned a bull using a scraper? I have turned a bull using a scraper. I believe one of the first bulls I turned was out, believe it or not, a piece of Padouk or however you want to pronounce it, and that was turned with a scraper, and I've still got it, and I believe it is sitting in a cupboard above, in a cupboard of Jane's computer cupboard. I think that's where it's sitting. I believe I still do have it. Yeah.
We're up to 240. Just took the time on the 60 grit because I had some weird places in that grain that I could not take care of.
If anyone has ever turned a bowl with the carbide tool, then they can say they've turned a bowl with scraper.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Well,
Jamie does it. Jamie does it every day.
Yeah, he does.
the thing that concerns me about people using the carbides for turning and stuff is that they tend to forget to follow the grain direction of the wood and make their cuts go in the proper direction,
Yeah.
and they get kind of lazy and they go back and forth. So
Still got a couple of places of grain there that are not perfect.
I miss somebody else coming in.
However, those will add to the character, I think. See you can almost see well, you all can't because I've got it on the wrong.
wrong camera.
Yeah. You can see the
Nian-
feather running right through there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's
Chris
going to be a real
Nealon,
nice piece.
Chris Nealon from
Oh,
Niantic,
that's who's just come in.
Niantic River Woodcrafting says hello, Doug, and he says it's looking good.
Thank you, Chris. Good to see you.
It looks like Andy, Lucy's other half, is cooking spam in the kitchen.
Spam.
Yeah,
He's doing what?
spam.
Oh, me.
Roy has said the Glen Teagle rides the bevel on carbides and gets a smooth cut. Now, I really don't care what anybody says about carbides. They are a very, very decent tool to use in all areas of wood turning, and if you use them properly, you will get a decent cut.
Sure.
Riding the bevel on a carbide is pretty much like doing a what's the cut I'm thinking of? Can't remember it.
It's like riding the bevel on any tool.
Yeah.
It's
Now
the angle you present the tool to the wood at.
I can't remember certainly one of the English tool makers used to do a spindle gouge that didn't have a flute. So it was basically a scraper, but it would all depend on how it was presented to the piece of wood as to what type of cut you get.
Yeah.
Right.
A skewgy gouge.
Now, Zed has said, have you ever tried a Russian skew? Scariest tool I've ever seen. I've actually got one, Zed. And to tell you the truth, it's not a Russian one. I've got to say, it's not one that was made in Russia. This was made from a guy in Sunderland in the northeast of England, and he made it's got screw-on blades on it, and he's made various blades out of different types of steel. But
Mm-hmm.
I still prefer a proper skew, a high-speed steel screw, air skew chisel to use. What I would like to have is one of the hook tools.
Hook tools work really well,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing end grain hollowing.
Oh, definitely.
That's the place to use it.
But they work basically the same as a ring tool.
They do, yeah.
I mean, they're the same principle. And if you look at a bowl gouge, or you look at even a spindle gouge for hollowing end grain, they're all about the same shape, and you have to present them the same way to the wood. And the cut direction is highly important.
Zed has just said, how about a ring tool? Well, Ruby's just explained that.
Yeah.
I've got to say, the grain on that platter is absolutely gorgeous, Doug.
Well,
It
thank you, sir.
certainly is.
I was saying the other day, somebody was commenting on another little. I did a video on a chunk of wood that's been sitting under my feet for about a year, um, just because it was too small to use, basically. And I turned just a little nothing bowl, a whatnot bowl, and it was a crotch, and it came out lovely. You don't know what you got until you dig into it. This is one of those pieces as well.
Yeah.
Once I picked it up out of my scrap pile, I realized it had some crotch in it, but I didn't know it was that nice. So you get it. There you
That's
go.
coming up really lovely.
Yeah, that feather going through there is just phenomenal.
Marcel Duret has mentioned Andre Martel's hook tool, that it's wonderful. Andre is a French turner who lives in Montreal, Quebec, and he does make an exceptionally nice hook tool if you're looking for one. Another fellow Canadian who makes hook tools is Michael Hoselik.
All right.
And both of those are readily available.
Yes. Andre also makes a really nice set of thickness calipers, and they come in different sizes so that you can actually get in and check out your work. Like you would be able with his to get into that chuck between the jaws and tell how deep the bottom was.
As you started talking about that, I was what? Yeah, I've got 3/8 gap in the jaw. So yeah, I got plenty of room. Yeah, I could get in with the right calipers.
Right. Lucy has said, that's looking beautiful, Doug. And Walt has said, looks very nice. He's going to have to drop off, which means he's probably saying goodbye. Good night, Walt.
Which means he's got to go back to work.
These are even better than the calipers I gave you, Mark. Or wait a minute. No, I did give him a set of Andre Martel's calipers.
And Ben has said, oh, hang on. Zed said he attempted to make a ring tool from an old wrench, but he couldn't get the angle right. And
Um,
Ben has said, I hear you can't get private health insurance if you own a hook tool. It's in the small print.
no,
Right.
maybe over there, but you can still get it over here.
Now, the thing is that hook tools are. Now, I haven't used one. I'm just going on the principle of using a ring tool. But I would think hook tools are very, very easy to use. But
Hmm.
they are used for hollowing end grain. That's what they're used for.
Yeah, and that's what they're made for.
There we go. Get a little more light on the subject without washing it out.
I think part of the problem I found with people using different tools is they don't find out what they're actually designed for.
Hmm.
And then when they try to do something they're not designed for, they say they don't work. Like I saw a fellow once trying to do a demo with a hook tool on a piece of side grain wood. And that wasn't going very well for him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can see somebody do it, but they have sharpened it, probably um, made a little different angle on it, and but they don't tell you that.
Right,
Right.
we've got a few more comments coming in here. Jason has said he doesn't use Easy Wood carbides. He's got a set of carbide tools that he got from Amazon, which is just grand. Ben said, and it has to be green end grain, at least with the woodcut one. No, I disagree, Ben. Ring tools or hook tools will work on dry end grain.
They will. It's just the green wood is easier to turn.
Look, green wood is
Absolutely.
always easier to turn. Whether you're doing bowls or spindles or whatever, green wood is always easier to turn.
If you watch a lot of,
Dealer said, very nice, Doug. Sorry, Ruby, carry on.
it's okay. If you watch a lot of demonstrators at shows and stuff, a lot of times they turn green wood because it makes them look good.
Oh yeah.
Because they can have these long strings of wood flying off of their tools, which is impressive.
All right, just about there on the grit. Running it.
Lucy
1200
said, oh, sorry. Mark said, if you use a hook tool on anything other than green, you deserve everything you get. And he's also replied to Ben saying that he used the wood cut on dry wood. It works fine. It beats you up a bit, but it works. Lucy said she's got a set of carbides from Glen Teagle. He does some with shorter handles, which are nice for her because she has tiny hands.
Yeah,
And Ben said, sorry, yeah, should have said, works better with green wood.
now when I was up at the Record Power Factory, they showed me some new handles they were coming out with. And that was one of the comments I made to them, was that they needed to have two sizes of handles, because the one chap who was showing me the new handles, his hand was exactly twice the size of mine. And I pointed out to him that a really big handle like that would be difficult for people with smaller hands to hold.
I'm just going over that with a little bit of alcohol to knock off some of the oil and wax that's in there before I put my carnauba wax on.
A lot of people who have the small lathes or the midi lathes where you and don't have the access to actually take the tailstock off will benefit from having a shorter handle.
Yes. No, Ben, it wasn't the Yorkshire guy. Lucy says that Andy's hands are gigantic compared to hers.
Andy is gigantic compared to her.
The babies are gigantic compared to her.
Well, that was the way I felt being with Pete.
Oh, I bet.
I just refer to Pete as my favorite giant.
All right. I wish y'all could see the same thing I'm seeing.
Well, what we can see is that that's an incredibly nice piece of wood. I mean, the green is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's coming up very, very nicely. Very nicely.
Right, Zed's just put in there, and I haven't heard of this before, but Gojo hand soap works as an abrasive paste.
Yes. It's got pumice in it.
Yeah. I've used it as a hand soap, and I've also used it as an abrasive.
Yeah, Lava soap was one of the original pumice hand soaps out there, and it now comes in a soft, in a pump bottle. You can use it as well. I would think you would need to be a little careful with both of those because the pumice in those is not graded, and so it could be quite rough.
Right.
Ben has just said we need a picture of Pete next to the tiny turner. Ben, if you have a look either on Instagram or Facebook on Emma's post from when she's been in Denmark, you will see a similar height difference to the people who she was standing with within the photographs.
All right, I'm just finishing up buffing this this wax a little bit, and we'll. I'm not going to hold everybody to watch the back side of it because I've got to take it over and put it on the vacuum chuck to do the back side to finish it off the way I'd like to do. But you'll see where it's at. You'll see where it's at. I like where it's going. I pulled this piece of wood out and I was not sure what I was going to have.
That
You
is
see the
absolutely
feather?
beautiful.
Feather running right through there.
came out phenomenal. That's absolutely gorgeous.
Get rid of the
It
southern
really
light.
is.
And yeah, you can see the chatoyance. See it on the bottom. It
Yeah.
flashes there. Come around and it flashes again right at the bottom. It would be bigger, except that the feather is off center. So it stops it. All right, let me get that off and you can get it where you can really see it.
Well, I thought we could see it pretty well right there.
There we go.
There
Wow.
you go.
Lots of movement, lots of figure. That feather, there's a knot, big knot here, knot there, another knot there. That beautiful feather, and you've even got some crotch figure over here on this side. There's another knot. Knots all over the place on this thing.
That's a naughty piece of wood.
It really
Now,
is.
this one's for you, Doug, from Ward. Can you still get a discounted axe using your promo
Yes.
code Doug15?
Yes, absolutely. 15% off at Axe. Absolutely.
Richard,
And it did bring up a pretty good shine on that walnut.
it did.
Trying not to flash the shine as much and let you see the figure.
Yeah, as Gerard says, very nice, Doug. You did that piece proud, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's I tell you what,
Very nice.
wood is it's a beautiful thing. uh, to use a term loosely, but it is. Wood really is a gorgeous material that we can get. Fortunately, it grows on trees. It's everywhere. Trees do have a life cycle, and so they have to come down from time to time. And I was fortunate enough to get a fair amount of this particular tree with lots of limbs going through it and a lot of crotches. Um, and so that's what that is. Any other questions that we hadn't quite gotten to?
I think a lot of people would have thrown that piece away and not really looked at it like you did.
It would be easy to. I think I said earlier, if I'm not mistaken, this was the pith area that I cut out of a log. So I had both the other sides, and this was just the center. Um, and like you said, Ruby, a lot of folks would have taken that and cut it down where the pith was. They'd have taken that section out and tossed it, and had two little small pieces. Where I've left it in, it didn't split really. It had some gaps open up and whatnot, some checks and everything that I had to work on with some SIG glue. I've still got some places right in this top part of the rim, but it really did come out nice. And I'm looking at both the picture and the actual article. This is prettier than what y'all can see, much prettier. So, but I thank you. I thank you all. This has been a
Lots and
good
lots of
turn.
lovely comments coming out here.
Oh, great, great. I look forward to going back and reading through the chat. Well,
Well, you did a beautiful job of turning it too.
thank you. Thank you.
And just remember, everybody, once the live is finished, you can go back into the video and make comments on the video that Doug's just done.
Yeah, that would be greatly appreciated as well. That helps. I didn't realize how much that affects the analytics and what YouTube does with it. But yeah, if you go back in after the live is over, even if you just say hello, put anything in the chat, it will bump it up in the analytics, and YouTube will show it more to more folks. So if you do that, I'd appreciate it, and share it if you can. That would be appreciated as well.
And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, folks.
Got to get the Jamie thumb in there.
Just before we leave, I'm just going to pop in, if you don't mind, Doug.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's my link for tomorrow night. I am back.
All right. I don't know
Any
about anybody else.
idea? Any idea what you're doing, Wayne?
Yeah, I'm going to do it'll be a vase type shape with using a stencil and using a Dremel engraver and doing some color as well.
Good.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I want to do an experiment sometime soon, but I probably won't do it on a live. Doing the burning pin stippling, like what Brian's been doing. I want to give that a try.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
that'll take some time.
Yeah, absolutely. I expect that's why I'm not going to do it on a live. I may turn it and then come back and show it later, like
Well,
we've done on a couple of things.
if you
Hi,
turn a
Rob.
piece,
I did say the Rob's just said hello to me. I did say hello earlier on, Rob.
if you do turn a piece, what you can do is you don't have to burn and texture a whole great big area on the piece. You can just do a section and then that way still do it on the live.
Right, right. Even do 3/4 of it and just do one section live,
Yeah.
and so you can see how it was done. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, some people they don't realize too that they over texture or over burn a piece and they take away from the beauty of the piece itself.
Right. Uh, Anytime I talk about using a pyrography pen and stippling and that kind of thing, takes me back to our group that met in Georgia, up in the mountains of North Georgia. And one of the guys made a little small pot. It wasn't very big. And then he sat there and used a soldering iron and burned it, um, and did a phenomenal job. I thought it was beautiful. It was just a little bit bigger than this one. Let's knock that off in the floor. That's that's the little piece I was talking about a while ago that was just a junky piece sitting in the floor, but it came up with all that beautiful spalting on one side. But anyway, this pot was about that size, and he did all this pyrography on it, kind of a cave thing, Indian deal. It was neat, and I just thought it was beautiful. So I always think back to that. One of these, I keep saying, one of these days, I'm going to do something similar.
Well,
Any last?
you're young enough. You've still got lots of time to do it.
You keep saying that. I'm not that young, Ruby.
Wait till he catches up to us, eh, Wayne?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
I'm not far behind. I'm not far behind. Closer than you realize.
Yeah, the thing is, Doug, whenever you start catching up, we keep on shoving forward.
That's right. I don't think you'll ever catch us.
There's no way to catch, is there? Nope. Well, let me just say thank you. Thank you, one and all. Ruby, Wayne, thank you all for being in the background and helping.
No
Some
problem.
great
Anytime.
suggestions. You answered some great questions, and I appreciate that. I did not realize until I started doing this how much difference it makes to have somebody watching the chat, answering those questions, so I don't have to look up all the time. Makes a huge difference. Huge
It
difference.
does.
And I can concentrate on getting something put out that's decent. I keep turning that, and I turned it wrong.
But at the same time, you have to credit yourself because some people can't listen to the conversation that's going on while they're turning.
Right,
They can't multitask, so to speak.
right, right. I don't mind multitasking and can do it a little bit, but it's to be able to put 95% of my thought into this, and y'all take care of the other. That's phenomenal. So anyway,
And
thank you all. Thank you all the
right,
folks in the chat as well. Go on.
hang on, Doug. Zed has just put in there. There is like 2,000 years of wood turning experience on screen right now. Thanks, Zed. I don't know how to take that, but thank you.
Well, 1,000 belongs to me, 500 belongs to you, and
And Ben
we'll
said
give Doug 500.
Ben said 1,900 is from me.
Not quite, Ben.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever heard you say, Ruby. How long have you been turning?
Since the 70s.
Okay. Okay. Just a little bit before Wayne.
Yeah, I'm a late
Wayne's just a
starter.
little bit before me.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm a late starter. It was mid 80s for me.
Right.
well, back then when I started, they didn't have electricity.
Right. Had to get a servant to run on the wheel.
Oh, we didn't have servants. No,
Okay.
you did it all yourself.
Okay. Y'all are talking about the scrapers and wall for bowl turning. That little tool, the Olin tool, that's what. I mean, that was just before bowl gouges, and that did a phenomenal job. I can hog out a vase with that. If I don't have a good grip on it, it's in the next county real quick.
Well, I remember too, about the same time they came out with those, we had started using ball end mills stuck
Right.
into a bar and using those for hollowing out. And basically, they operate the same way as a hook tool
Right.
or a ring tool, but they were very efficient for hollowing a piece out.
Now, Rich Bulldog has put in there treadle lathe. Now,
Treadle lathe.
I was
Yeah.
actually doing shop duty in one of the shops today, and a guy came in and we were having a chat about wood turn, and he was talking about treadle lathes.
Yep.
And I've only ever tried a treadle lathe once, and I just could not get my head around having to cut backwards and forwards because
Right.
the wood spins one way and then it spins the other way,
Yep.
and then it spins
Ah,
one way and then it spins the other way when you're using a treadle lathe.
Yeah.
I hear treadle lathe. I think like a Singer sewing machine, where you pump it back and forth, but you have a flywheel that's going one direction. I want
Right.
to build one like that.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, I know what
Now,
you're talking about. It's like a
yeah,
spring pull lathe.
yeah, but the type of machine you're talking about, the first time I saw the type, I can't remember the name of it now, but there used to be certain people used to produce these type of machines, and they were used predominantly in hospitals,
Okay.
which is where you actually use the treadle with a huge flywheel. So
Mm-hmm.
you pressed on the treadle, but the huge pretty much the same as a car. The flywheel just turned the lathe in one direction, and these were used in occupational therapy within
Okay.
hospitals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
have to
then
be fairly coordinated to be working your tool and powering the lathe at
oh,
the same time.
Oh,
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, let's it's been an hour and 20 minutes. I think it's time to call it. Guys, thanks again. Chat, thank you all so much. I will be going back and reading through the chat, and may even respond to a few of you. Please do comment, and I will respond to the comments, not in the chat, but in the comment section. I respond to all of those, read them all, respond to them all. Sometimes it takes a while, but I can still do it.
It
It
does.
doesn't take that long. So thank you all for being here. Hope to see you again next week. And until then, I hope you're able to spin them around. Say goodbye.
Good
Goodbye.
night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.